They were called berkuts, and berkut is like a bird, like a hunter bird, and that's why they were called like that. And they were following the orders of the president, which was, well, to kill as many people as possible, which is exactly what was happening. And
So should we dive in a bit deeper into the circumstances surrounding the president Yanukovych?
Yeah, Yanukovych.
So you say he was elected illegitimately, and he rose to power and took control illegitimately and told the police force or the military force to kill as many protesters as possible. So let's dive a bit deeper into this. So what led to the president being ousted and being accused of being illegitimate?
So it's quite, if we want to dive deep into it, when Soviet Union fell apart, different countries which were post-Soviet countries, they took different ways. And unfortunately for Ukraine, we are sort of that sweet fruit that Russia wants, like historically. So Russia made sure that after Soviet Union falls apart, Ukraine is not going to go too far. So what they did is they sort of implanted a lot of oligarchs or businessmen or people in politicians who would be Russian or pro-Russian, or people who wouldn't really complain or say anything, who would be easy to scare or easy to buy. So corruption, because of that, became really dominant in Ukraine. And it's sort of like that system where they try to take over a country, but they do it sneakily. So they do it firstly by trying to implant their people where it's needed, and then to psychologically pressure people. So the first stage of that was to build this corruption system where they can buy people or scare people by death. If you know the president Yushchenko at the time, if I'm not wrong, he was doing the right things, and he came after the revolution of 2004, which was Orange Revolution. And he was doing really the right thing. And what happened to him? He got acid split on him, or I think they actually poisoned him, but then that resulted into his face being sort of demorphed. Am I right?
You are right, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to say something that is not true, because I'm not a historian. I don't do politics either. So I just care about my country.
Yeah, no, for sure. And because from what I remember as well, from in 2013, just before the president got ousted, there was the talk of signing a big agreement with the EU, of signing a close cooperation and close economic cooperation deal with the EU. But then suddenly the president kind of backtracked after kind of reaffirming that he was going to sign it. Is that really, how is it perceived? And was it a direct attempt by Russia to stop a closer relationship with the West?
I think it has been definitely affected by what I've just said, basically. And it's really the next stage. The next stage is to put the person who's easy to buy, scare, and blah, 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 in power. So that they did that to Belarus. So the current president of Belarus is pretty much a part of a Russian leader, so that Belarus is pretty much, unfortunately, becoming almost part of Russia. They don't really speak Belarusian anymore.
It's like a puppet state or something.
It's like a puppet state because of the system that Russia implanted into them. And they tried to do that to Ukraine as well in 2014. And the part in this whole story was Yanukovych. So he was that person who they thought they will put in power, and he'll be just doing what they want him to do, which would be exactly the case, but they only miscalculated the fact that Ukrainians like freedom, so they would fight for it. So that's what happened, and that was a really big thing. There was no police after Yanukovych ran away to Russia, obviously. There was no police, and people didn't notice. You know, you would expect that if there's no police on the streets, there's no rules, no one is making people to follow the rules, people would do different things, steal, kill, do whatever. It was peaceful. People were sort of in depression state because so many people died to fight for freedom. So people were nicer to each other. People were kind to each other, helping strangers, asking strangers how they are doing. And there was no police. And when police came back, people were like, there was no police. We didn't even realize. That's exactly how it was. I remember that the streets were just empty. There was, yeah, it was crazy because I don't think any other country would imagine, like, I don't know, England having no police.
It's a scary
What do you think
thought.
would happen?